Alright you guys, hi! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea and I make videos about my health and wellness journey and just my life in general. Anyway, I wanted to check in before we get the video started and just say that this week's video is a little bit different just because this past week I didn't focus so much on being in a deficit. It was a week before my period and I also really threw myself back into the gym this week and I just figured I could probably use the extra calories. And now that's not to say that I wasn't in a deficit ever. I just wasn't really worried if I went over by a little bit. So anyway, also as far as my weight goes, I didn't really notice any big changes this week. I actually almost suspect that I may have lost a pound. I usually weigh myself in the morning when I get like my real weight or whatever, but I've been weighing myself in the afternoon and I've like maintained very steadily. So as long as I don't eat like an a-hole tonight, I suspect tomorrow morning when I wake up, I may have gone down a pound. So I'm not sure. But anyway, I feel like sometimes that's what your body needs and sometimes a little bit of a break is good. So I decided to show you guys this week's meal prep that I did. We had a really busy weekend. I ended up going apple picking again. You know, went to my sister's house, hung out with her, and we just had a ton of apples that I absolutely had to do something with. So I just figured I'd take you guys along with me. Like I said, these foods aren't like necessarily super low calorie. I'd say they're reasonable calorie. They're definitely not like diet hacky type foods, but they're definitely reasonable home cooked foods that you can fit in to your, you know, meal plan, diet, I don't know. Anyway, that's what I did this week and I just thought I'd bring you guys along with me while I did that. So anyway, let's get into the video. All right, so the first recipe that I'm going to make is an apple butter. I got this recipe off of allrecipes.com. I'll leave the link below. I've never made this before, but it had a lot of good reviews and I had all the ingredients for it. So anyway, I have 12 apples here. 12 apples seems like a weird measurement for me. I don't know why they wouldn't go by pounds, but at any rate, I have a variety of apples. I have Macintosh, Empire, one very picturesque Red Delish. I have this Mutsu apple that's a little bit bruised. So this would be a good recipe to use if you have apples that are going out because they're just gonna get turned into basically mush anyway. But anyway, the recipe online says to peel these. I'm not even gonna do that. My sister's made apple butter many a times and she said you don't even have to peel it. So we're just gonna get rid of the cores, the seeds, and we're gonna throw these straight into the crock pot. I just realized I should probably rinse these off, so let's do that. So I got everything in the crock pot. I ended up doing about 11 apples. I just did what I thought my crock pot could handle. So anyway, to that I have 2 cups of brown sugar. I didn't pack mine just because I'm using a lot of sweet varieties of apples, but we have 2 cups of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a half a teaspoon of allspice, a 1/4 teaspoon of clove and salt. I did a pretty good squeeze of lemon juice to mine. I think I'm also going to add maybe a teaspoon or so of vanilla just because I think that would be very good. And we're just gonna cook this on high for 4 to 6 hours. Apple butter going. The next thing I want to make is a breakfast quiche. If you saw my video last week, you know I was flirting with the idea of doing a breakfast casserole, but since I have a pie crust kind of hanging out of my fridge, I want to use that up, so I'm going to turn this into a quiche. Alright you guys, I'm going to do a voiceover for this part because the crinkling of the bags was a little bit too intense and it was annoying the crap out of me. So at any rate, I just grabbed any little extras, any leftover bits and bobs I had in my pantry. I have some peppers and onions there. and a little bit of hash browns from Trader Joe's from my freezer, some turkey breakfast. Oh my God, breakfast turkey patties. Holy crap, I can't talk. And then I have leftovers from a charcuterie board. I have these broccoli florets, and then some Gouda cheese, which ended up being really, really tasty in this. And then I had a little chunk of Colby Jack. I added that as well. But you guys could use anything you have, any veggies, any meat, and any cheese. It's very versatile. Because these are going in a quiche, I'm cutting these into fairly small bits and getting rid of most of like this big chunky stem stuff. And I think just for efficiency's sake, I'm gonna throw these in the air fryer just because I think they're gonna roast up a bit faster. So to the broccoli, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little drizzle of olive oil, and I'm also gonna go ahead and sprinkle with some salt and pepper and also some garlic because we add garlic to everything. Alright, so let's go ahead and start the quiche batter. This is really easy. I got this off of savewithpennies.com, I believe. I'll leave the link in the description below regardless. But anyway, it's just 6 eggs. And I would say this is a good size for like a smaller pie pan. If you're going with a bigger one, maybe add an egg or two. But I'm using like a very, very small pie plate. And to that, I'm adding half and half. You can use milk, cream, whatever you have on hand, honestly. I just realized to put the salt in and this was in the way, but whatever. I put salt in and pepper. And I just found my measuring spoons, which I couldn't find because I left them in here. What is wrong with my brain? It's called ADD. Anyway, I just whisk that all together, and now I'm taking the frozen peppers and onions. The peppers and onions that come in a bag, they're super convenient, but they come in like weird wonky sizes, so I just like to take a knife to those and chop them down a little bit. And then I'm just gonna add those to a pan and saute them up just to soften them up. And then I'm gonna go ahead and shred some cheese. I personally like to buy my cheese in block form. The cheese that comes in a bag has like caking or anti-caking agents. That just sounds not edible to me. And also it makes it so your cheese doesn't melt as well. So I like to just buy the block and shred it myself. Also, is it cheaper? I feel like it's cheaper. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. And here's me going in for a taste. And another. Very good. All right, you guys, so everything kind of cooking. Oh my God, I have to do this lefty, which feels super awkward. So I got my peppers and onions. Probably gonna heat down a little bit on this. Let's go check the broccoli. There's our roasted broccoli. That looks like it's coming along probably close to done. If you guys haven't had roasted broccoli, it's like my favorite way to have it. It's so good. I just feel like it adds a ton of flavor. And we got our cheeses done. Very excited about this. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop a couple of these breakfast sausages. The recipe online calls for about a cup of ham. Because we have so many veggie fillings, obviously I'm not gonna do a cup of sausage because we just want to have a lot of stuff in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop maybe 3 of these and see where that gets us. These are fully cooked, by the way, so that makes it super easy. So I probably could have only done 2, but that's okay. This is just gonna be really delicious. Oh my goodness, this is like all stuck together. It's the one downfall of buying these sometimes. Pie crust, you're supposed to make my life easier and you're making it more difficult. All right, so this is fun. We're just gonna try to smush this together and I feel like it'll be okay. However, annoying. So where I think I went wrong is I think I'm supposed to let this sit out and come to room temperature, but we live and we learn. Obviously the crust does this when I want to make a video and kind of want a picturesque pie. I'm just gonna hope for the best. So now that I finally got this crust in the pan, I'm just going around and folding the edges under to make sort of an even crust all the way around at the top, so I'm not dealing with a raggedy edge. And once that's done, I kind of press things into place and go ahead and crimp the edge. You could do it like I'm doing here between my 2 fingers, or you could just kind of take a fork and press the edges down. Either way works totally fine. Considering the Swiss cheese mess that was, I feel like we did okay. Like, it's gonna be okay, I think. So now we're just gonna go ahead and throw all our fillings in here. I layered all mine, which you totally could do. It worked out fine. But what ended up happening was I had all my cheese layer on top instead of all throughout, which wasn't horrible, but it wasn't ideal. So I definitely suggest mixing everything all together first. I'm gonna add the hash browns. I may have gone a little crazy with this. Let's put this in the oven. I have mine set at 375, and I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I'll let you know. For my lunch prep for the week, I'm just gonna be making some chicken salad. I'm using this canned chicken breast that I get from Sam's Club. I'm also going to be using this nuts and cherry salad mix I just had hanging around. I just feel like this would be very, very good in a chicken salad, and to that I'm going to be using up the rest of a green onion that I have, and also some red onion and an apple. That's just an Empire apple. I'm using something that's a little bit more tart. Granny Smith would work well, but honestly I've used any kind of apple for this. And then just a bunch of spices. I have black pepper, garlic. I also like to use a little bit of dill, and then my favorite thing to put in a chicken salad is just a little bit of curry powder. I think that's what makes it really special. Celery would also be really, really good in this, but that is not something I ever have on hand, very rarely, which is why I'm adding the red onion, just because I feel like that crunch makes it really good. And I don't want to go crazy on the red onion because I'm also adding green onions. However, I feel like I add green onions just to make it prettier. I usually also add parsley, but I'm all out of parsley, so just a little bit. I usually use about half an apple, I feel like. Just dice this up really small. Maybe not quite half an apple, maybe like a quarter of an apple. All right, I'm also gonna add a little squirt of lemon juice just to keep those apples from browning. And the nuts and cherries, I'm just gonna throw the rest in. It's probably a quarter cup. Add a little bit of mayo, bottom of this, so it's just hard to get out, but just a tablespoon. Also gonna add a little squeeze of Dijon. Maybe like a teaspoon's worth. Pepper, garlic. This is all to taste, I feel like. I add a tiny bit of dill. And then, secret ingredient, I am almost out of curry powder. So here is the finished chicken salad. I ended up eating this all week long, you guys. It was so good. But anyway, this was 259 calories for a third of this and 26 grams of protein. The way I like to eat that chicken salad is I'll usually have it on one of these carb balance wraps with some crunchy romaine and then also some sweet and spicy pickles, which I feel like complement the chicken salad really well. So I'll probably have that today and tomorrow and the next day. So I just pulled the quiche out of the oven. I probably should have timed it, but I did not. You basically want to go until the crust is golden, the top has a little bit of color. And when you shake it, like, I don't know if I can shake this. You can see the middle doesn't look like liquid. So that's all you really need. But this looks really good. Is there so much cheese in this? Yes. There's no way this is gonna be bad. So very excited about this too. taste test it for lunch. I had a little bite and I think it's really good.
It's pretty good.
You like it? The good thing about quiche is you can, oh geez Louise. It's breakfast, it's brunch, it's lunch, it's dinner. We're very good. So the last thing I want to do is just like a straight up simple apple pie with like a crumble top. I have that other pie crust, so that's why we're doing this. And then I have some leftover oatmeal and stuff, so we're gonna go ahead and make a crumble top for this. It's really, really good, very, very easy. And let's just start putting it together. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some sugar to this. I like to use a combination of brown sugar and regular granulated sugar. And I think I'm just gonna do a 1/4 cup of each and see what that looks like. Once again, I very rarely measure this. I kind of just dump it in. Give that a stir and see where we're at. And I think I could add a little bit more. So I'm just gonna do maybe another 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Okay. Now, I'm also going to add a little bit of vanilla. Ooh, that was a lot, but that is okay. Now, you can use apple pie spice. Oh my goodness. It's like my own mixture that I made. It smells good. I'm just gonna do, I think the only difference is that this has cloves in it. So I just did a sprinkle of pumpkin pie spice. Go pretty heavy with cinnamon. What's up, bud?
What are you doing?
You're getting apple pie, baby. Are you stealing sugar?
No, I'm trying to put some in.
Oh, okay. Trust me, there's a lot of sugar in there. So the last thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna add a couple tablespoons of flour. I just had bread flour handy. It's fine. It's just, we're just using it as a thickener.
Also, can I help you with make it more tasty?
Making it more tasty? I think I put all the tasty things in there.
Yeah, I would like.
You want to throw that in? Do one more. Don't go too heavy. That should be good. Okay, throw that in. All right. Oh yeah. Yeah, that tastes really good. All right, so I think this is all set.
Yeah.
That's all we need. Now let's get our pie crust set up.
It actually does taste good.
Yeah. Now we're gonna go ahead and make the crumble for the top of the pie. I have not a clue where I got this recipe. I've just been using it for years. Also, if you want to take a screenshot, there is the recipe for the pie crust I usually do. Anyway, let's go ahead and make the crumble topping. Like I said, I had a tiny bit of oats, so I'm just going to add a little bit just to get rid of the oats. You could also add chopped nuts to this if you're like into that sort of thing, but I don't have any. So this is good. So that is kind of the consistency that we're looking for. Let's try this pie crust thing again. Hopefully this one's a little bit better. What the heck, man? Why? Oh my god, you guys. I specifically buy the Pillsbury because I feel like I don't have this problem usually. But what the heck? I don't know why it's doing this. So much for making my life easier. See, this kind of sucks because now I feel like the middle of this pie, the crust is going to be just so thin. Next time we're making it, we're going to make it from scratch. I'm going to throw a little flour on it. So I'm going to try to push some of the thicker parts into the middle and even this out a little bit. There's another hole. We fixed it for the most part. Let's try to put it in our pan. So luckily, I was able to kind of rework this and get something decent. So don't be discouraged if you get a dough and it looks like absolute crap. If you're patient, you can make it work. Now we're just going to add our fillings. Hopefully I have enough apples. God, I feel like I might have to add more apples. I think I might add a couple apples. I don't know. I feel like I like it a little bit mounded. All right, so I quickly just coated some more apples just to throw on top because, like I said, these are gonna cook down and I don't want the pie to be super thin. We're just gonna add, this is like an apple crisp topping. Don't be shy with this stuff because this is what makes it delicious. And I am gonna stick a pan underneath this in the oven just in case any of this syrup kind of spills over. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm like stressing myself out. What the frick? Does this happen to anybody else or is this just me? Oh my god. This is probably just me. So let's do a little apple butter check-in. Okay, so this is what we're looking like right now. I consulted with my sister and she said that we should take it off at this point and blend it, see what the consistency is. Why is my nose so red? I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna take it off of here, blend it up, see what the consistency is, and then perhaps throw it back in the crock pot on low with the lid ajar to let some of the moisture out and let it thicken up a bit. So we're gonna do that right now. Also, if you have an immersion blender, that would be ideal. I don't have one, so we're doing old school blender. I think we're gonna do food processor because I feel like this can fit more. I think we're just gonna ladle this into here. I'm just gonna taste it. Holy crap, that is amazing. Here, let's check the consistency. So my sister said ultimately it should be like thicker. Ooh. Applesauce. This looks really nice, but I do want to deepen the color a little bit, so I'm gonna put it back in the crock pot on low and just let it go a little while longer. That tastes so good though already. Holy moly. I think we're gonna go ahead and check on the pie. It's been in there a good while. What I usually look for is obviously for the crust to be golden brown, but also if you look around the edges, if the syrup is kind of, well, if it looks syrupy and bubbly, it's usually a good indication. And then I kind of poke an apple to kind of make sure it's tender. I feel like this is looking pretty good. So it is 2 o'clock now. This has been on here for a good 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 5 hours. And I think this is where I'm going to stop and put it in some jars. I feel like it's quite thick. It will thicken up more as it sits in the fridge, but I like the color of it. I feel like in real life it looks a little bit darker. But anyway, let's go ahead and jar this up. It also smells amazing in here. Between the pie and this, it's like, smells so good. I'm not actually gonna can these. I'm just gonna store these in my fridge. So yeah, I'll probably put the rest in a little Tupperware. I might give some away, who knows? Was needed, claimed in blackest night, cloistered in injustice, dead in the eye of time. Nobody's losing. Alright, you guys, so I think that's gonna be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you try some of these recipes. If you do, definitely let me know in the comments below. I've definitely had way too many apples today and apple products. And I've been in this kitchen way too long. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you guys next time. Bye!